Hey, good morning, everyone. It's Rob Folia and Jessica Klein with Folia Properties here at Keller Williams in Nashville, and we wanted to come to you live today to basically explain the difference between a salesperson and a consultant. You ready to jump in and get started, Jessica?
Yeah, I'm loving this meme here.
Yes, I love it as well because I know I know one of the reasons why. Well, I'll get into the meme in a second, but one of the reasons why we wanted to do this video from basically is because I think there's been a lot of I've gotten a lot of questions recently about kind of the home buying process, maybe from first time home buyers or maybe from people who just haven't bought a home in 10, 15 plus years because I mean the average person stays in their home for what 7 to 10 years. And so, because of that, I think people, because they think of sales, real estate sales, is kind of a common term. They think of this, what you see on the screen, and that's kind of a stereotypical used car salesman. No offense to any used car salesman that might be seeing this video. It's just that stereotypical, used car salesman just trying to push a product on somebody instead of looking out for someone's best interest, right?
Yeah, and I think, I mean, you hit the nail on the head there. I think that that's kind of the stereotype for any kind of salesman, right? Like, I have this product and I'll do anything to make you buy it. And the reality of real estate is 99% of agents out there, we're not doing that. We're not in it for that. And yeah, I think it's a great opportunity to talk about the difference.
Absolutely. And well, I don't know if I go that high. I don't know if I think some, however, I will say I know
Maybe I'm a little generous. Yeah.
yeah, maybe a little generous, maybe a little jaded because of our KW experience. However, because I do think we are a great company that has a consultative approach versus a salesperson approach to helping people. And yet, I know, like I said before, I got into real estate before I was in a quote unquote sales industry. I used to think of salespeople like this, and that it's just trying to hide any negatives and just trying to basically get me to sign something to move forward. And in real estate, we take a completely different approach. I mean, we're here for somebody's best interests, and you might hear us use a term like consultation, whether it's buyer's consultation, listing consultation. Maybe even seen that in some of our ads where we've talked about contactless experiences and being able to have video consultations where we can get to know your actual needs, what's actually going to help you. And that's a little different than just pushing a product. And I think the old school real estate, and I say old school, I mean, probably maybe before either of us were even born, back in the 70s and 80s and even into the 90s, before buyer representation was so prevalent, this may have been more of the case because, in those instances, there were so many listing agents that would double in transactions and work both with buyers and sellers. And now we just don't see that. I mean,
Yeah.
we have, I mean, maybe one a year, if that, of our sales are we representing the seller and the buyer. Most of the time that's not the case.
Yeah, and I think now there's so much information out there, and we know that buyers are much, much smarter now, and sellers too. Everyone is much smarter about the process. And, we're here really as a consultant and as the people who work in the industry, day in and day out. We're here to help you make good decisions for yourself, not to force you in or out of a sale.
Exactly, well said. And in fact, I like that so much that I'm going to close this meme and we're just going to get rid of that one and we're going to look at this one. And that is basically it's more of an infographic than a meme, but it's basically a sales rep versus a consultant. And you'll see kind of the stereotype of a sales representative of being selling transactionally, talking to a client, pushing a product, focused on basically the person they're representing, which is the seller, the person who, if you're talking real estate, maybe it's new construction, and no disrespect to any of our new construction friends, it's just they're representing the builder, which is understandable. They're focusing on features, they're I mean they're is that making sense? Is that coming across clear what I'm saying, Jessica?
Yeah, I mean, the left side is that stereotypical person, right? Like, check out this pool and, like, their energy efficient appliances and whatever it is, and there's not any focus on the person, that they're representing. So in this case, it would be the buyer.
Absolutely. Like,
Like, what do you need in a home? Is this giving it to you? What's your financial situation? Is this home gonna satisfy what you need and be within your price range? Is it even time to buy right now? Questions like that.
most definitely, great questions that you just threw out there, and I almost think, I'm never a fan of continuously using the analogy of cars versus real estate. Two different purchases, two different processes, everything, and yet I think back to the last time that my wife and I bought a car. And I mean, we had an idea of what we wanted. We were looking for a new car for Kelly, and she had her eyes on getting a Jeep. And so we went to a Jeep dealership, and they were selling the products that they had on the lot. They weren't asking us questions of, well, why do you need a 4x4? Are you looking for the best in class 4x4? Are you, I mean, they weren't asking questions along those lines. They were trying to sell the products they had on their lot. And that's what a sales representative does. That's what a salesperson does versus a sales consultant. And that what that sale, and you can see obviously on the screen, but the things that really they jump out to me are listening to the client, offering solutions, is customer centric, focusing on the benefits for the consumer, not just the features of the product. It's really, and the last one that you see on there is a partner. I think that is so true. And I mean, and that's really to me the biggest difference in what we do, at least how we approach real estate versus how I think a lot of other real estate agents approach real estate, and also the difference between what good real estate agents do versus what kind of other salespeople do. And no disrespect to other salespeople who are seeing this, because hopefully you take more of the consultative approach, the right side approach versus the left side approach of what you're seeing on the screen. And does that make sense, Jessica, what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And I think if anyone's interested in seeing exactly how we accomplish that, we have a page on our website. If you go to foliopropertiescom and you click on the services page, there's a whole list. I mean, it's 10 plus services, all of them completely free, and only 2 of them actually involve buying or selling a home right now. I mean, a lot of it is just looking at your situation and deciding whether, doing anything with real estate is a good fit for you. A lot of it is, talking about real estate investing and growing your wealth, and, what kind of equity do you have in your home? And, there are all kinds of things you can look at. What you're saying is exactly right. Like, we're doing things as a partner, not as someone who's forcing you to buy or sell a home.
Well, exactly, because I mean, I know I approach things like this, and I think one of the reasons why you said, why, again, I think we're kind of jaded because then most Keller Williams agents look at it this way as well. Look at it as the right side, the consultant side here, versus the left side of the sales representative side. But we do approach things as a true partner, because we know that ultimately, if we're making somebody happy and taking care of somebody the right way, that it's going to pay off long term. That's the win-win. It's the win for the client. It's the win for our customer, because they're getting what ultimately is in their best interest right now. And it's a win for us because long term we know it will result in business for us. And so I hope that makes sense. We just wanted to throw this out there because we've had some questions. A couple of questions that we've gotten are like, why do we need somebody if we're looking to buy new construction, or people who've called on our listings and are kind of expecting to talk to a sales representative without realizing that there's the sales consultant side of it, and that's basically, especially as a buyer, that's free. You don't pay to have a buyer agent represent you. So make sure you're hiring somebody who's really a consultant that's going to be listening to you and looking out for your best interest, offering solutions, versus just pushing a product and pushing a listing or pushing that new construction build because that's the only thing they sell, if that makes sense. So.
Yep, for sure. And yeah, so like I said, that site, if you want to check out our services, is foliopropertiescom, and it's the services page. And there's a schedule section on there as well if you'd like to talk to us today. And we'd really like for everyone in the industry to be like this, because it's the best thing for everyone out there.
Absolutely, well said. Well, I think that's it. Unless we had any comments on the Facebook live feed, we can definitely cut it short, or cut it off here, I should say, not cut it short. But if you have any questions, or if you're seeing this after it was recorded, feel free to reach out. Info at Folia, FOGLIA properties.com. You can reach out to us directly, 615-591-5665. As Jessica said, if you want to schedule a consultation, go to that schedule tab on the folioproperties.com website. You can get in touch with us about scheduling a free consultation to get your needs taken care of.
Yep, sounds good. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, y'all. See y'all.